Why is something with no alcohol, no barley, and no traditional fermentation process called beer? That seemingly naive question touches a ruthless rule of modern industry names shape habits more powerfully than ingredients ever could. In the 19th century, when American drugstores sold beverages brewed from roots and herbs, the word beer no longer referred strictly to ethanol. It referred to a social ritual holding a glass, clinking it lightly, sipping slowly. Attaching the word beer to an herbal drink was a psychological strategy. Consumers do not buy molecules, they buy roles. And so root beer was born as a behavioral replica of traditional beer. No intoxication, but all the cultural structure of drinking remained intact. From that moment, a paradox emerged: the less it resembled beer chemically, the more it needed the name to survive. To understand why this seemingly outdated soda still runs deep in American society, we must examine how material experiences create memory, and how industry standardizes those memories into collective habit. For many American families, a root beer float, a scoop of vanilla ice cream dropped into cold root beer, is not just dessert. It is ritual. When the ice cream touches the carbonated liquid, physics takes over. The temperature difference causes CO2 to escape more rapidly, creating thick, energetic foam. Proteins in the ice cream, particularly casein, act as natural foam stabilizers. These amphiphilic molecules arrange themselves around gas bubbles, strengthening and smoothing them. The result is more than visual appeal. It is a layered sensory experience: cold on the tip of the tongue, gentle sweetness, bubbles bursting softly across the palate. The brain records these multi-sensory experiences in the hippocampus, the center of long-term memory. Years later, the simple scent of wintergreen mixed with vanilla can reactivate the entire sequence. The root beer float becomes a physical time machine. It requires no advanced technology, only temperature, gas, and protein. Root beer's endurance in the United States does not stem solely from advertising campaigns. It stems from its deep attachment to family memory structures. And when memory is standardized across generations, it becomes tradition. If root beer evokes sweetness for Americans, for many Europeans it triggers shock. The reason lies in methyl salicylate, the primary molecule responsible for wintergreen aroma. Its structure includes a benzene ring attached to an ester group, allowing it to evaporate quickly and strongly stimulate olfactory receptors. But the brain does not respond to molecules in isolation. It responds to context. In the United States, wintergreen appears commonly in candy and chewing gum. Children grow up associating the scent with celebration and reward. In many European countries, the same molecule is found in muscle liniments and antiseptic products. That difference creates distinct material standards. The same smell signals pleasure in one culture, discomfort in another. Neuroscientific research shows that the orbitofrontal cortex, the brain region responsible for reward processing, is heavily shaped by cultural experience. When an American drinks root beer, this area activates similarly to when eating candy. When a French consumer tastes it, the brain may associate it with a clinic. Root beer thus becomes an unintended cultural weapon. It reveals how industry can standardize taste within national borders, yet provoke resistance beyond them. The issue is not quality. It is sensory programming learned in childhood. Historically, root beer's flavor depended on sassafras, a root containing safrole. But in 1960, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration banned safrole after studies showed carcinogenic risks in laboratory animals. That decision was more than a public health measure. It marked a transfer of authority from forest to laboratory. Chemists were forced to reconstruct the flavor using safer synthetic compounds. They analyzed safrole's molecular structure, searching for alternative molecules that mimicked its aromatic qualities without its toxicity. The process resembled digitizing an analog recording. The melody remains. The texture changes. Modern root beer is, in many ways, a technical replica of its original form. It is more stable, reproducible by the millions. no longer dependent on the variability of natural roots. This represents a pivotal shift in material culture. Systemic safety takes precedence over authenticity. We drink a product redesigned for industrial standards, not for the forest where it was once born. Root beer does not exist only in bottles. It exists in spaces. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, soda fountains in American pharmacies became social hubs. Long marble counters, spinning stools, attendants in white aprons. Young people could gather there without violating moral expectations. Root beer functioned as a non-alcoholic communion. It preserved the ritual of gathering without requiring intoxication. Those spaces became precursors to modern cafes, even to co-working environments. They normalized sober leisure, something contemporary society now takes for granted. When brands such as A&W restaurants expanded nationally, they did not merely sell beverages. They sold a model of social interaction. Root beer was no longer just liquid. It became cultural infrastructure. If you look at a bottle of root beer today, it may appear outdated in an era of kombucha and energy drinks. But if you look at behavior, you will see a living fossil of American industrial culture. It began as survival knowledge, was renamed to manipulate expectation, standardized to ensure safety, and eventually solidified into collective memory. Root beer persists not because it is trendy, it persists because it has embedded itself into the behavioral structure of a nation. And perhaps the most reflective question is not whether it tastes medicinal, it is whether, with every sip, we are consuming a story distilled through roots, laboratories, and memory, one small swallow at a time.